Good morning. It is Monday and I'm feeling it this week. Don't know how you all are, but I'm just hyped for today. Start of a new week. Don't know why. I'm getting used to these, what I class as early mornings, because an early morning to me used to be about 12 lunch. So I'm absolutely loving it. How have you been? How has your weekend been? I had a lovely weekend. I had a really, really nice weekend. Yesterday, I spent a little time on me. Went for a really nice walk. I've been saying I'd do it for a while. There's a really, really nice hill. If I looked just out this window, there's a really, really big hill, and I wanted to get to the top of it. And I managed it. And I went and I ended up sat there for an hour with a flask of coffee, and it was just bliss. It was just really, really bliss. So my weekend was lovely. That just tops it off. Came home, cooked real nice tea from scratch, or dinner, depending on how posh you are. But yeah, no, it was really, really nice. So if you are watching, make sure you say good morning to me. Remember, if you are watching on replay, to put a hashtag replay. I should have said all this before I just said about my weekend, but you can tell I've had a lovely time, can't you? But before I bring today's guest on, which I can't wait, they are a barrel of laughs. So I am really, really excited. Make sure, good morning, Mr. Robert Leet, off the mark. Morning, Quackers. Rob has got a fantastic challenge on at the moment. Don't know how many spaces he's got left, but he's doing a 5-day challenge where he practically does everything for you, including accountability, and meaning you actually get shit done. So make sure you slide into Rob's DMs at the minute. He's helping everyone stay fit and get off their ass from when we've been sat at our computers. Exhibit A. But yes, it's I had a lovely weekend. Really, really nice. Really, really nice and chilled. And then I'm ready for this week. I've started journaling. As of yesterday. I was going to wait till today, but as Sass Huntwood, hashtag be more Sass mentioned, why do we wait? Why do we wait for when we're doing these things? A lot of people go, I'll start my diet on Monday. Why? Why do we wait? We've got no reason to. So I just kind of started it yesterday because I was in the mood to go on a walk. I was like, I'm going to start my diary as well. So I made a really nice, lovely, hearty bowl of porridge, and then off I went. It was great. Absolutely loved it. But really, really busy week ahead. Don't know how you all feel, but really busy. Really, really busy. But I have got my good morning coffee. It has to be a glass cup because otherwise it's not bougie enough. I love that word, bougie. It's really good. Cheers. So, as I do every morning on Kwak TV, because why watch crap TV when you can watch Kwak TV? I go through different days of the year to give you a little bit of inspiration for social media. I also go through different hashtags you can use that day that are trending, in particular on Twitter. And it just gives you, hopefully, a little inspiration in case you're stuck in the mornings, because social media can be really difficult if it's not what you do. So, with no further ado, I always get that word wrong, I think. Today is Bubble Wrap Appreciation Day. Okay. It is also Opposite Day. Do with that what you will. A Room of One's Own Day. I think that means, in lighter terms, like a man cave kind of thing. It is Irish Coffee Day. I will not argue with that. And remember, we are still in Veganuary. So, we're still going there. If people are doing Veganuary, I hope it's going well. I personally couldn't do it. I'm what's called a flexitarian. You can Google it. It's a millennial word, obviously. Good morning, Cheryl. Yes, you are really busy as well. And Rob, I wonder where you got your idea from for your 5-day challenge too. No, on that note, I helped Rob iron out the idea. He had the idea, but he just needed ironing out. Just needed bouncing around a little bit. Imagine a good game of air hockey. You know what I mean? Just needed pinging around a little bit until one went in. That's all that matters. So, that's your days of the year. Bubble Wrap Appreciation Day, Opposite Day, A Room of One's Own Day, Irish Coffee Day, and remember, it is still Veganuary. And then your hashtags for today are hashtag Monday Motivation, hashtag Monday Thoughts, hashtag Monday Morning. Did I say the hashtag at the beginning of each one? Yeah, I do. Of course I do. And is there any more? No, there is not. No, there is not. So it's hashtag Monday Morning, hashtag Monday Thoughts, hashtag Monday Motivation. Those are your hashtags for today. And those are what trend on Twitter as well. So if you want, Twitter for me scares a few people. It used to scare me a little bit. Scared me a little bit because I was like, I don't really use this platform and I don't get why I'm limited to so many characters. But after watching a fabulous presentation last week, I've learned how good it can be to use for PR. And the biggest tip was literally search in the search bar on it exactly what you're wanting. So if you're looking for young entrepreneur, search it. It's actually a keyword search. I didn't know that. I thought it was just hashtag and account search. It's actually a keyword search. There you go. Tip of the day. Oh, there we go. Cheryl saying, love a good pinging and ponging session. Yes, Cheryl, that's why you are the listening detective, and I put my foot up the arse until I wear them like slippers. So, with no further ado, because I am waffling, today's guest, I cannot wait. They normally come as a pair, him and his wife. There's a big tip for you. He likes fruit bowls. Only so many people will know them when he's starting to laugh backstage. And he's a fabulous man. He does a lot for charity, and so on and so on. And you know, he's a lot of people recognize his wife with one business, which is the business we're going to be talking about today mainly, but then recognize him with the charity. And when actually, you know, he does have some brains behind that bald noggin, for debt collection as well. So I believe we're going to be talking about how the world is changing, about how everything's been shifted, and you know, we just need to keep going and perseverance. But before I do that, good morning, Mr. Howard Vale. And Facebook user, I don't know who you are, so make sure you pop your name in the comments for me, or click accept at the top. Basically, where is the description? Click more, click accept StreamYard, and we will allow you to see your name. Otherwise, just pop your name in for me, and I know it's you. And good mocking. Good morning, Vicky Midwood. Oh, Christ, you can tell it's Monday, can't you? So, anyway, good morning, Mr. David Baum.
Good morning, Mr. Callum with a K. How are you?
How are you today, kind sir?
I am doing brilliant. I'm in fine fettle, as Zoe Ball likes to say. So, life is good. Love
it. Had a nice weekend?
It was beautiful. The snow came down. Yesterday morning, woke up like the rest of the country with those amazing sunrises. We're all posting these brilliant reds and golds. It was awesome. And then all of a sudden, the snow comes down. And it's picturesque. It's lovely. But I made the very sensible decision not to go out. I allowed the dog to go out. Ollie went out. Mel went out. I stayed in. It was lovely. I enjoyed the snow from the comfort of the window. It was great.
Good. We haven't had any snow yet. We've got plenty of frost. I'm just double checking because I've not actually looked out the window this morning. Tell you what, I could do a weather forecast just by doing that, couldn't I?
Yes.
Today's frosty.
A friend of ours actually posted pictures yesterday about snow. It's in Maidenhead, and Mel sent her a message saying, "I wish we'd have some." She said, "I'll send you some." And within about 5 minutes, the snow started falling. It was brilliant.
Look, so David, just in case people don't know who you are and what you do, who are you and what do you do?
Okay. For this purpose today, and today this morning only, it's not about fruit or hairdressing. It's about credit control and debt collection. I've actually been in the industry since the mid 1990s. I set up our first business in this area in 2005. And so basically for the last 15 years-ish, 15, 16 years, I've been running credit control debt collection agencies. And in 2012, the best thing ever happened was Mel joined me. And she's gone from a retail background into actually one of the best collectors I know, because she extols that virtue that you need, which is all about not being, she can be a dragon, but also it's empathetic to the needs of our clients. And let's face it, when you have a debt that can mean the difference between survival and moving forward, actually need someone to manage expectations. Now, we're very lucky, obviously, you and I both know a number of people within this industry, and they all have that one thing in common. We're not about slapping, we're about resolving. Because that's the other thing our clients need to know is, will I lose my client?
Yeah, exactly that. And it's so important about thinking about these things. People, you know, before we dive into it, it's like people are going, "Oh, well, I won't worry about that." Well, no, do. You know, that's what puts food on your table. That's what takes your child in normal circumstances to dance classes, etc. And it is. So, but before we dive in, let's say good morning to a few people. Good morning, Mr. Gary Jones. Say good morning for me, David.
Good morning, Gary.
We've also got Vicky. Say good morning to Vicky.
Hello, Vicky. Actually, if anyone wants to know about good people to talk to about fitness, Vicky is your lady.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. And she's also got a really good thing at the moment, which is your health MOT, which means it's online and it gives you answers there and then. You don't have to wait. It gives you answers. So really, really good. Make sure you check out Vicky's health MOT. We've also got Mr. Howard Vale.
Good morning, Mr. Vale. He's the only man of my age within that understands has the same connections with the clubs we had as teenagers in London. It's great.
But the thing is, David, he has more hair.
True, but most people do. And Mr. Leeds in the room.
Yeah, and we've also got Cheryl. I'm just clicking random names. We've also got Cheryl. So good morning, everybody.
I want to know what a pinging pongy session is.
Ping pong is where you're batting ideas around.
Oh, right. Sorry. I'm that old. I only think of table tennis.
No, it's because Cheryl's a coach as well. So it's when someone gives you an idea.
Over a bit because...
Oh yeah, go on. We're missing your beautiful face. But bear with him, people. He's got his fabulous new banner. And he wants to make sure we can see it. There we go. There we go. You see, David, we got there in the end.
No,
Sir,
there we go. Oh, I'm half it.
Fantastic, sir. What have you seen? Shall we say, in the debt collection world since the good old Rona chose to pop up? What have you seen?
Okay, things changed. I'm not talking about last March, but it was happening before the dreaded C word.
Yeah.
Things in the last 2-3 years, since the B word.
Yeah.
And prior to that, the processes were happening. Companies were failing, were struggling. So the Debenhams, the Arcadias of this world were struggling. They were going, but people were so I must supply them. They're the big supplier. They were not actually. People were beginning to take chances on supply, and they forgot the golden rule, which is turnover is vanity, cash is sanity. And people had to basically, this has been a great wake-up call for many people. And people are now, we're talking about 3 to 4 million people potentially being made redundant from the retail entertainment sector.
Yeah.
A lot of these people are going to be going into businesses. A lot of them will buy franchises because that's a golden opportunity. You've done all the hard work. You just have to basically get out and get your DM, listen to Callum, get your DMs and start working. But unless you are taught the basics of credit control, you miss out on an opportunity. And when I say about credit control, people don't understand it's not just about collecting the money you're owed. It's about good housekeeping.
Yeah.
Prior to the C word, I hate that word because it's such a negative word. Negativity destroys people and businesses. You would say, do a credit check. Yeah. Unfortunately now, and I'm talking to, we work with obviously people like Experian, etc., and they all agree. No one actually knows what a good credit report is, because the next 18 months, everyone's business turnover is going to be coming down. There are going to be negative issues on credit checks. So what you have to do is check out who are the people you're doing business with. If you have the right information, you can make the right judgment call.
Do you know what, David? On that note of like finding out about people, there's one weapon in every businessman and woman's and whoever's arsenal. Obviously, I have to emphasize on the word arse there, didn't I?
Of course you did.
Yeah, of course I did. LinkedIn.
Yes.
You know, look at their what they're called, like their
profiles,
where people have acknowledged them and give them the tick at the bottom for whatever they're in and things like that. And
the testimonials.
Like why is this person only got like, say they're in finance, why is this person only being like approved by one person in finance? Why are they only being credited by one person in finance? Fair enough, they might not think to get their clients to do that on LinkedIn for them. They might not.
Correct.
But if it isn't, I would then ask someone, hi, where can I find your testimonials? Your real life testimonials. Do you have them on Facebook where I can see the person? Because it's okay, and I've got testimonials on my website, and it's okay having testimonials on your website, but sometimes gonna dig a couple people out here. Like, people just use the ones that were left on the template if they can tie in, because they go, oh well, I need to get a couple, so until I can get the real couple, I'll just leave them on.
Yeah, but Callum, this is the same with people who have terms and conditions. I mean, one of the things we tend to do is write terms and conditions. And whilst I'm not a solicitor, we always get a legal representative to check these things out for us. It's how many people go, oh, well, I better have some terms and conditions. Well, yeah, that's normal. Right, I'll nick them off this site because they do something similar. Yeah. And I have seen them where they've forgotten to actually change the name of the entity within the terms and conditions. They don't understand. Someone said to me the other day, well, I don't want to, there's very onerous ones there. It's not good for my clients. And I said, actually, it's not your clients you have to worry about. It's those people that are not paying you. Yeah. Terms and conditions set out the parameters of how you wish to deal with them. So let's take you, Callum. Your job is you give people a good kicking. If they're not
Yeah.
going to give, and you get them there to where they need to be.
Yeah.
But you don't do it for free.
No, not
So
anymore.
you need to be paid.
Yeah.
So within your terms and conditions is what is expected from your clients in terms of not only payment, but also what you're expecting from you expecting them to do for you, preparing from a one-to-one. And it's also what you are promising your customers that you will, and it's a document of accountability.
Exactly. And do you know what? I actually took notes on my terms and conditions as the odd thing crept up, or I learned something new that I wanted to change in them. Because I was like, for example, it was nothing massive, but I was like, do you know what? That these don't need changing right now, but when I've got a good accumulation,
Correct.
I'll update my terms and conditions.
But also, it's a great, when you do that and then you send out your terms and conditions to your customers, it's a great sales opportunity. You attach them to a thing and say, hi, John, how are you doing? How are things going? I haven't heard from you for a bit. Are you still on target? Do you want to have another conversation? Oh, by the way, please attach my latest terms and conditions.
Yeah. But the thing is, for anyone doing it, if you've never done this before, my personal advice from what I did is, because I work with people on completely different calibers, loads of business experience, absolutely none. And that's obviously why they've got me. And I sent two. I sent a previous of the old one, and then I sent a copy of the new one where the additions were highlighted, and anything that was taken out, I also struck through. And then I attached the third one, which was completed with no highlight or anything like that on it. It was just because some people can get scared when they get sent new ones. That's what I'm there for them to, go, oh, can you just explain what that means and what this? Absolutely. That's what I'm there for.
But that's what, one that makes me laugh is, I remember the first set I ever revised, it was a client of ours, she's now retired, Teresa sent it through. There were 75 clauses within their terms and conditions. Huh? Who wants 75? But I had to read through it. The first 30 were one, but the next 35 were one, and the next 35 were an exact mirror of the first 35. Okay, but there was a clause in the middle looked like Latin. I don't speak Latin. So our son at the time was at a local grammar school, and he was doing Latin. And I said, what does this mean? And he looks at it, he gets out his dictionary, and he's like this. It's a load of rubbish. What do you mean? He says, it's gobbledygook. They've just put in a whole load of Latin words, ipso facto, etc., whatever. So he said, it means bugger all. And I realised what it was. It's a trigger question. It's supposed to be, if you've read the terms and conditions, ask what does it mean. Teresa didn't know it was even there. So when we redesigned the T's and C's, it was the trigger question was, you will provide a cup of tea and a plate of biscuits. You, the client. I said, what does that mean? I said, but I want people to have looked at it and said, why do I have to give you a cup of tea and a plate of biscuits? It means they've read the I had an argument with a lawyer not long after about this. And they go,
it was HMV or Game. It was one of them two. In their online terms and conditions, online ones, they actually put a competition in it. And they put in it, if you read the terms and conditions and find this line, you have won £1,000. And only one person won it, and then they took it out. Because out of all the times people accepted, they went, only one person read the terms and conditions online and found that line where they won £1,000 for reading the terms and conditions.
Within business, it's more important, because if you have to take someone into court and you're suing them on your terms and conditions, and they say, well, I wasn't aware of that. Well, you signed it. Did you not read that in the terms and conditions? So it's a and it means it's great. It also is another conversation, because your customer phones up and goes, hey, David, why do I have to give you a plate of biscuits and a cup of tea? Oh, don't worry about it. But right, let's move on this forward. It's a conversation. Yeah, I love that word. But you have to say it like Harry Enfield and Cadley Staff used to say, as Wayne, to us, conversation. Anyway, Wayne Slob. Just look it up on the internet. It's very funny. Wayne and Waynetta Slob. But this is what I keep trying to tell people is, at any given time, good. It's all about sales. Everything is about sales, but sales under your control. If you issue an invoice at 30 days, for instance, when do you phone up to confirm your payment? At 30 days? at 45 days or at 14, 21 days. And I would say to people, actually 14, 21 days is great. Because you phone up, go, hi Callum, how are the widgets going? I mean, I know it's a bit tough out there, but you're selling many. I've got new ones coming in next week. They're going to be awesome. Oh, yeah, they are a lovely sparkly, glittery one, which will grow great with your merchandise. Oh, by the way, Beryl and Accounts has just reminded me, if I was going to speak to you, that your invoice is due next week. Any problems?
Yeah.
It's sales.
Yeah, it is. And do you know what? My PA won't mind me saying this. Very, very lovely PA. You know, she's very understanding, as many VAs and PAs should be. And I didn't realise my invoice from her had got in my spam. And I didn't. And because she's very understanding, very courteous to a point, she's still running a business. We have our weekly calls. I've got one today at some point. And even she went, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, great, I'll get all that done. By the way, you've still got that invoice waiting, and your next one is due in about 2.5 weeks. So, because it's a rolling contract. So it was like, just so you know, so you don't get backed up. Oh, is it? I didn't know. Yeah, just check your spam. And if you can't find it, let me know today and I'll happily resend it, because it does need paying by this date. And it's just the way that she was talking about how I'm using her next month. It was polite and courteous, because she was telling me, because you have got an invoice coming again in another 2.5 weeks. Are you able to pay it? You know, and if you're not, what can we do? What can we sort out for that?
Correct. And
for me, a lot of it is it's also two words. One word I use all the time, which is credibility. Credibility all the time, which is obviously what yourself and Mel help with. You help people keep that credibility, because you keep that relationship with the client and the person you're getting the debt from. And the other word for me is just consistency. You're keeping consistent, and you know, it's been like,
it has to be. I mean, one of the things that people make a mistake out on anything when they start their business, and this is where you should be talking to people within your network, is a scattergun approach to marketing. Yeah, they will put one message on one thing, one message on another. Nothing ever falls. And one of the things when we moved around, became WCR from our previous company, we changed the name, is we changed the policy. Only one person is allowed to put anything out to do with WCR. And that message has to be consistent. So we have a lady called Nick Devillard who does a lot of our marketing for us. She's a part of the team. Only she can approve any posting on LinkedIn, on Facebook, or Twitter. When I come to doing 365, which will then become Move for Wellness, I put out the same message across all mediums. Yeah. If you're consistent with your message, it's like people used to shout. Was it our friend Brad Burton? Yeah, Mr. Burton.
If no one knows who Mr. Burton is, by the way, Google famous potatoes. I'm sure he'll come up.
Well, he's said for years, I am the best, I am the greatest networking, I'm the networking guru, I am the greatest speaker, I am number one. If you shout it loud enough, people then say, who's Brad? Oh, he's number one. You've got to keep the message on tap.
And he's doing the message, isn't he? Because right now we're talking about him. Yeah. He's doing it.
Correct. And the same way as everyone knows Callum with a K, because that's what you keep pushing. That's a great way of people knowing who you are. But also about your DMs. It's a complete constructive message that people understand. And it's the same token, is you either become known as a soft touch, oh, don't worry about Dave, I'll pay him out later, or you actually like his product, but I'll have to pay him. Now, we have clients who say, come back to me at the beginning and say, look, David, I need this, I need that, but I'm having an issue at the moment. Can we split payments? Yes, because guess what? You're talking to me, and it's my prerogative. And that's the end of the day. It's your prerogative whether you accept it.
I think Mel might have said this once, actually, wife and business partner of yours. When I was in a networking meeting, she said, one of the things that people forget when they're owed an invoice, a lot of people naturally go, oh, they owe me all this money. But have you communicated? Have you rang them? You know, and that's one of the other keywords is communication. You've got to communicate. You don't know for example, in the current climate, their supplier might have just, I don't know, shut down because of COVID breakout.
We have a client who is a courier company, and they've got like 100 franchises around the country, and we do a lot of their credit control. And the first thing they did when the first lockdown, when I got a message from head office, they sent me through a list of their top 500 customers, can you find out if they are trading, or if they're closed down? What are their credit? Because they said what we need to do. They said yes, we could do it, but what we'd like people to remember is that you're involved with our credit control, and what you're doing is. And it was a courtesy call. I think 2 companies got peed off, but more important about it was identified 20 companies that were about to go because their credit files were so poor. They weren't aware, and these were some of their bigger people, so they could actually make provisions, and those ones were off, had their new terms issued. Don't forget, you can change your settlement terms. Now, most people think it could be 28 days. I remember I listened to a guy called Roger Craven years ago doing a talk for Barclays, and it was a whole room of accountants and me, and he asked a question: what is the best way of improving your bottom line? Is it A, cut your prices, increase your profits, etc. Cut your bottom line, cut Flossie's wages in the office. And Flossie in this case was the account office manager. Remove Flossie, do it yourself, or put your prices up. And I was one of the few people who said, put my hand up and said, put your prices up. Because what you don't understand is if you put your price up 10%, you don't have to work as hard just to stay where. Cut them by 10%, you've got to work twice as hard just to stay still. And this is where often retailers make a mistake. They've got this big sale, and they say, oh, they have done £50 million in turnover in the sale. But actually, if you just cut your prices, that's not 50. That's equivalent to doing 25 million, just because that's all you've done.
Do you know what? You've touched on a point there that actually a lot of people struggle with, which is pricing. A lot of people struggle with it, and I know this isn't really time of what we talk about, but since it got mentioned, pricing. A good business friend of mine mentioned a really good tip, and it's up to people to use, not everyone possibly, but up to people that are struggling. Am I too cheap? Or should I say, I'm not getting paid the value I'm worth, right? And their tip is, every 3 months, when you get a new client, put your prices up.
Correct.
And every 3 months, because then one day someone will possibly go to you, oh, that's a bit too much for me. Then you know you've possibly hit that line now, and you go, right, I've found my value that people are willing to pay, and am I happy with that worth? Absolutely. And you know, it's finding that right thing, which then obviously helps your credit, helps everything else, and obviously sometimes.
And also, it's your credibility, Callum. Yeah. If you are so cheap, where's your credibility? Sometimes you have to pay more. What's it? You pay for quality.
Yeah. And I got told by about 8 people to put my prices up because I was ridiculously cheap.
I know you were.
And I was like, right, okay, I put my prices up, and people were like, yeah, I'm willing to pay that. I was like, oh.
If you are, I mean, I remember my late father saying to me, I'm talking about a suit. He says, always pay more for a suit than you can really afford because you're getting better quality. And one day I went to a high street chain. I needed to get a suit, and there was a suit there. It was like 90 quid. It looked brilliant the first time. Even when I got it cleaned, it looked good. Then all of a sudden, the stuffing came out of the lapels. They would be flopping all over the place. It lost its shape. If I had actually spent more on that suit, I would have had 3-4 times of the wear on it. I mean, you look at people like Prince Charles. They paid top dollar for a piece of clothing. But that clothing will last them possibly their lifetime. And everyone laughs about it, but guess what? It's the cheapest investment you can have. Put your prices up. I mean, I say to people, if you've got, look at your bottom, your customer base. If you've got 100 clients, of those 100, 20% will be the ones giving you the most business. 80% work. Of those 80%, who pays you on time? If they're running late, if they're behind persistently bad payers, say choose a date like February the 1st or January the 31st, or whatever date you want to say. Unfortunately, due to the adverse financial situation, we are having no option but to put our price up by 10%. Now, they can do one of 3 things, these people. They can ignore it and continue to be late, in which case you just charge them interest on the money if you've got those new terms and conditions. Because the other thing, you've got to make sure your terms and conditions are right about late payment charges. If you don't phrase it rightly, you don't get your extra money. The second one is they'll phone up and they go, why are you putting my prices up? And you go, I'm sorry about that. I'll tell you what, If you can get me payment within 14 days of my invoice, I can hold the price for 5%. But if you can pay me with order, I can actually keep the price the same for you. I just got to do something. I can't really keep it going at this level. And there are those people who will just pay the new price without arguing because they've been conditioned to pay what they want. But it's, again, those that call you, you have an opportunity to talk to them.
Yep.
And you keep going back to the whole thing about credit control, about business in this hold your ears, Callum, I know you hate the word, COVID world. It's all going to be about communication, about getting a message across, shouting who you are, shouting what you do. Yeah. With all due respect to anybody else, get on Kwak TV, get on mediums that promote you as the right people.
Exactly. And do you know what, David? For us to round up, we've been talking for over half an hour now, would you believe it or not? Yeah, no, it flies by, doesn't it? What would you recommend for anyone right now that's possibly watching this and going, do you know what? I need to look at my credit. I need to look at my terms and conditions. I've got that client that's got their invoice outstanding. What would you recommend to them? Any last words of advice?
Okay, well, the base one obviously is contact me. A conversation is free, but you can go either through LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn quite happily. Yep. Message me, David at wcr-uk. Text me 07985 991 773. You can contact me any which way. Contact mail. Let's have a conversation, because sometimes we can give you tips that you can do yourself that you actually will help you move forward. And trust me, tips don't cost money. I give that away for free. I know you hate that. You know you hate that word, Callum. Give it away for free.
No, I don't. But do you know what? If the way to look at it is, if anyone is watching this and thinking that way, if you can communicate with David and Mel, you can definitely communicate with your client. 100%.
Less scary. Actually, Mel's definitely less scary than me. But trust me, I wouldn't want to get into an argument with her. She is the worst. She will wear parts of anatomy for earrings for someone who lies.
Love it. Right, David, thank you so much for coming on. Make sure that on my Facebook page and in my Facebook group, The Duck Pond, anyone watching this, if you're not in it, it's there. You drop all your contact details in the comments so people can find you. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure, Callum. Thank you for having me.
Don't run off anywhere. Keep backstage. I'm just going to kick you backstage. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Okay, mate. Take it easy.
See you soon. Bye. Oh, Mr. David. But I love him. Honestly, he's such a gem, and his wife Mel is as well. They're an absolute pair. And to be fair, because like I said, has charity as well, which is based a lot around fitness and health. And the amount of things he gets Mel to do is ridiculous. So that's been Kwak TV, because why watch Kwak TV when you can watch Kwak TV? And tomorrow we have Linda Reynolds, the travel agent herself. And once again, I don't have a clue what we're going to talk about, but I've got a feeling it might have something to do with holidays. You know, that word that we've all forgotten about, but we're all waiting for. Holidays. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, 9:30, me, myself, Linda Reynolds, on Kwak TV, because why watch Kwak TV? We can watch Kwak TV. And remember, if you want to watch us on replay, to put #replay, and you catch this on YouTube, my Facebook group, The Duck Pond, which is just at the above, and on my Facebook page, Kwak Talks. Lovely to speak to you all. I'll speak to you all later. Have a great week, and I'll see you tomorrow.